Good evening, it's meteorologist Michael Fecca. Welcome back with another weather update we've got here for you. We do this typically every night at 9 p.m., but of course we've had that alert day in effect here through this entire weekend, so we've been doing these constant live streaming updates for you almost every 2 hours through both yesterday and today. But we are here again, 9 o'clock. This is our normal streaming show. We'll go over the entire forecast here. We'll talk about the snow that fell and what's still to come in terms of this cold we're talking about. We remain on alert here, not for snow, but for that brutal cold. We're looking at dangerous wind chills, possibly ending up anywhere between -10 to maybe as low as -20 degrees, waking up the next couple of mornings. So that is going to really throw a wrench into some people's plans, especially if they're always outside or working outside. That is going to be causing a bit of a hazard. But I do want to talk about snowfall and snow reports that we've gotten, over the last couple of hours. I still have some outdated reports in here, so if you guys want to chime in, you see a number here that you're like, it looks like we have a little bit more here at my house, please feel free to chime in. But I do have mostly updated totals here for you. The biggest update we've had in terms of the totals was at Evansville Regional Airport. Earlier when we did this show at 4 p.m., we had a measurement taken at noon from the airport, and that was around 10.5 inches. Since that measurement at noon, we picked up another 2 inches on top of that, specifically at the airport. So that brought that official total for Evansville to around 1.5 feet of snow over the last 2 days, and we got around 8 inches of snow just today alone. So let me take a look at just some comments. It looks like we've got a couple of reports. William says 10 inches of fluffy white stuff by Bossy Field. Road conditions, other than all the side streets and neighborhood streets, kind of improving over here. And that's good news. So that means the road crews are making good progress out there, so that's good. Justin Turnage says he's got 8 inches out in Newburgh, so that's a little bit higher than our 6-inch report that we've got there. Justin also says, hello from the freezer in Newburgh. Yeah, we're all kind of just sitting in the freezer here for the next couple of days now that the snow has fallen. But before, oh no, all my pictures, they went too fast. They were supposed to be a surprise. I wanted to talk about some fun in the snow. We had many viewers send us in pictures of you guys playing out in the snow, your family, your dogs, you're taking measurements and you're sending them to us. We love that. We put together a whole compilation of snow day fun that we're going to air in our 10 p.m. show. But I did want to show a couple of cute pictures here of some animals in the snow. This is actually Beans. He's playing in some snow there. This was submitted to us by a viewer. Looks like he was trying to eat it or sniff it a little bit. And then we've also got Crew. It's another dog here enjoying some of that snow out there across the tri-state. Looks like he's licking off some of those ice crystals there, having a good time. And then we had another report or another picture sent in to us of a snowman. Everyone's out there having fun now that the snow is over and it's done falling. You're ventured out, and it looks like snowman here is probably going to be around with us for the next couple of days. But that's a pretty good construction there. I've made many a snowman myself in my day, and that looks like a pretty solid, sturdy snowman there. So good job and kudos to you for sending that in to us. But looking ahead at the actual forecast now. So let's take a look at our sky cam. So here's a look out of the Evansville riverfront overlooking the Four Freedoms Monument. You can see everything's just coated there in the snow, and we've got some clouds moving through right now. So it just looks cold and a little bit dark. It looks the same there across portions of Owensboro as well, maybe a little bit lighter. Not as much cloud cover overhead, but still plenty snowy and plenty cold across all of us here in the tri-state. Well, let's take a look at our radar across the country. So that storm system that was massive, remember it was brewing kind of along the Gulf Coast yesterday as it was getting started. It had snow across Texas all the way here through the tri-state and even out towards the East Coast. That low is now becoming a coastal low, is bringing some more snow to portions of New England now before it finally exits the United States. But taking a closer look here at the tri-state, again, that snow kind of wrapped up earlier this afternoon. By around 3 to 5 o'clock, we had those final snow bands finally push out of here to the east, and it was those few of those snow bands did put down another additional inch or two throughout the day today. But looking at our current temperatures, they've remained pretty steady. We've been in the teens here for the last couple of days, and that's not really changed. We still have maybe some flurries falling across portions of the tri-state, and that's going to be possible here through the rest of tonight as that low just continues to push off to the east. There's a little bit of residual moisture, and then of course you've got that cold air coming in, and that just helps squeeze out a couple of more flurries. So if you still see some flurries overnight tonight, don't be surprised, but we're looking at temperatures here for wind chill values hovering 0 on either side in the single digits above and below. And that ties us into the next couple of days, why we're on alert through at least Wednesday morning. We've got a massive core of cold air that's going to be settling in across at least the central portion of the United States. So you can see we have cold weather advisories and extreme cold warnings extending from the northern plains all the way down to the Gulf Coast. And of course, we're caught in the middle of it once again. So looking at that extreme cold warning, it is set to expire by around 10 a.m. Tuesday morning, but we have our alert going through Wednesday morning there because it is still just going to be very, very cold through Wednesday morning. But looking at the actual forecast, our actual temperatures drop back down to around 0 or slightly below. We may drop to around -1 tonight. We'll be drying out. Wind chills, though, could be anywhere between -10 to -20, waking up early tomorrow morning. So here's a look at that wind chill forecast. Those winds start to pick up through tomorrow morning there, so it may feel like -14 by around 7 a.m., specifically in the Evansville area, maybe even a little bit colder farther to our north. And that colder air continues even overnight Monday into Tuesday morning, still feeling like the teens below 0 waking up Tuesday, and then possibly the lower teens below 0 waking up early Wednesday morning. So that's why we have that alert there extended through the middle of the work week. Now, as this colder air rushes in, it's important to remember cold weather safety, the 3 Ps, your people, pets, and pipes. You want to check on your friends and neighbors. Jeff was talking about it earlier. Now was a great time to be a good neighbor, especially after a winter storm and this bitter cold blast. Check in on them, make sure that they've got everything they need, and hopefully they'll check in on you, making sure that you've got everything you need. And you also want to make sure you're taking special care and paying special attention to anyone who's living alone, especially if they're elderly. You want to make sure that their heating systems are working so that they don't get cold either. Your pets, also important. If you can bring them indoors, bring them inside. I mean, this is very, very, very cold air. Obviously, I know some people have larger animals, they have farm animals. You can't really bring them inside anywhere, but if you can't do that, ensure they at least have some sort of warm shelter, an outhouse, maybe some insulation and some hay within there as well. And you want to make sure you're continually providing them with fresh water because that water is likely going to freeze fairly quickly. And then pipes, another thing that we may be dealing with. We were talking about it in the 4 o'clock stream that we were doing. We had a viewer commenting saying he's already been out 4 different times to help with frozen pipes and bursting pipes. So we're already seeing that happen. You want to run a trickle of water to avoid those frozen pipes, and you want to also open up the cabinets under the sink because that helps the heat within your home to actually filter into the cabinet and help prevent those pipes from freezing. So those are just some quick tips. And then, of course, if you're going to be outside in this cold, we recommend that you limit your time outside if at all possible. But if you are going to be outside, you need to make sure you are layering up. Layers are extremely important. You need at least 3 on top and at least 2 on the bottom. Good pairs of socks, thick, long pairs of socks. You want 2 pairs of those as well. Warm pair of boots, gloves, mask, scarf, a warm hat. You want to cover up all exposed skin so that you don't run the risk of frostbite, especially with everyone wanting to play out in the snow. You got to make sure you're really limiting your time out there. Take breaks every 15 minutes inside to warm back up. Otherwise, it is going to be very cold. And when you're playing in the snow, it's hard to stay dry as well. So just getting wet and being, moist in that way can help cool down even more, help you cool down even more. So that's not what we want. And looking at the next 7 days, doesn't really look like we warm up all that much here through the next week. We actually don't really warm back up above freezing for the foreseeable future here. So hopefully you guys are fans of the cold because it's going to be here with us for a while. And that colder air is also going to prevent that snow from melting. So the snow we have on the ground also isn't really going to be going anywhere anytime soon. Now we took a look at our temperatures. Let's take a look at our precipitation. Do we have an active weather pattern coming up here over the next couple of days? It doesn't really look like it. It looks like we actually remain fairly dry through the end of the month and into the start of February. So maybe while it's going to be bitterly cold, at least we won't be dealing with, another massive snowstorm at least through the next week. So I'll take you through the European model here, and you can see we'll stay fairly quiet. There's not a whole lot of stuff that's moving through the tri-state. We'll have a couple of rounds of colder air that continue to filter in from the north, and as colder air filters in from the north, you may kick up a couple of flurries or light snow showers. That'll just be some brief passing showers, not anything like what we just had. We're looking on the order of a dusting if we see any snow shower throughout next week, because we just don't really have any major storms moving through. Even through next weekend, it looks to stay fairly quiet. And looking at your 7-day forecast here kind of reflects that. You see bitterly cold temperatures, but not a whole lot in terms of those precipitation chances. So we'll take somewhat of a quieter week now. It is just going to be very, very cold out there. So let me see some of your comments. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask. We got a lot of people tuning in, just saying that they're watching, saying good evening. Jeanette Rice says Poseyville's got 11 inches of snow. Tina is watching in the deep freeze of Dawson Springs. Thank you for joining us. Would you know how much snow Henderson got? Well, at least before, we haven't really gotten many reports out of Henderson, but at least before, earlier today, Arden was measuring around 5 or 6 inches, I believe, and then we got some more additional accumulation on top of that. So I wouldn't be surprised if we were closer, maybe 7 or 8 in the Henderson area after that additional snowfall today, but that's my best assumption. We just don't really have recent reports out of Henderson. Mia asks, will schools cancel because of the cold? I'm not really sure. I don't really make those calls. However, it is going to be very cold out there. We already know several schools, if not all of them, are closed at least through Monday. I wouldn't be shocked if you started to see them close a little bit, further on into the week because of that cold. But again, I don't make those calls. I don't know what goes through their minds. I don't know what their standards are for what cancels school and what doesn't. Will the wind stop in Morganfield, Kentucky? No, it's only going to get a little bit breezier here through the overnight and into early tomorrow morning. That's why we've got those really intense wind chill values headed our way. Chris Smith says 25 is going to feel good after what we have had. Yes, so we do have, a little bit of a warm up here. 25 degrees by Tuesday. At least it's not in the teens. So it will probably feel a lot nicer out there on Tuesday, but I better not see any of you in shorts still. Chris always likes to point out the warmer numbers on the 7-day, and I like to point them out too because it brings me happiness. Looks like LaKinya says, Union County is closed and all local health departments. So maybe that helps you out in terms of what you're thinking for schools. But thank you for that report. I'm not seeing any other questions or reports in here, so I'm going to hop off the live stream and I'll send you guys over to 14 News at 10 for all the latest news and weather headlines. Until then, everybody stay safe, stay warm, and we'll see you again tomorrow.